Hey everybody! So I've been playing with this tool called Stable Diffusion, and if you haven't heard of it, it's basically this AI image generator where you can tell it that you want an image of, say, a cat, and a few seconds later it'll basically give you an image of a cat. So I ended up running into some limitations, and one of the biggest ones is that I wanted to make pictures of myself, but I found it really hard to actually do that. But with some new technologies that just came out, I was able to train a new model using pictures, like various pictures of myself. And so now I can use Stable Diffusion to make new images of myself. Um, and I thought I would make this video to share with you some of the results and some of the things that I've learned through this process. So when I was playing around with the original Stable Diffusion, I ended up having a lot of fun. You know, you can make a lot of different images of random things that you want to see. So I made this image of like a corgi, but it was a statue of a corgi, and it had like gold and marble accents on it. I made this image of like a Japanese garden. It was like an illustration with like all of these plants and grasses and flowers and very relaxing kind of stuff. But I feel like as an egotistical narcissist, like I really want to make pictures of myself, and that was kind of hard to do. And the reason for that is that there's a lot of pictures of celebrities out there, and so it's actually pretty easy to make Stable Diffusion make images of celebrities. But for people who aren't yet famous like me, there's not really any images of myself in the database that Stable Diffusion uses. And so if I put my name in there, it's just gonna have like, some generic looking Asian person who doesn't look anything like me. About a week and a half ago or a week ago, I read about this technique called Dream Booth, and it actually ended up working. So I want to share with you kind of the steps that I took to get Dream Booth to work. Okay, so first off, I'll just say that this technology is super new, so people are still working on it, trying to get it to work on lower and lower memory constraints. But for now, it should work on like a really good video card. So I have this one called like the RTX 3090, which is pretty good, and it has like 24 gigabytes of memory, so that's enough to actually run it on a computer. But yeah, people are trying to get it to work on, like 12 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes. Maybe by the time this video is out, it'll already work on those. Basically, I got a bunch of pictures of myself. And one thing to keep in mind is that the images that you're adding are really important. So there should be a good variety of poses and expressions and backgrounds, because you don't want to accidentally train the image to associate, yourself with always having a phone camera, like in front of the camera, because you take a lot of selfies in the mirror. So you also need a new word or token to train the model. So this is basically the word that you're replacing with a new concept of whatever you're changing, whatever you're using for pictures. And in this case, it's myself. And they say for people that it's good to use a celebrity's name that looks like you. And so I didn't really spend very much time to think of a celebrity that looked like me. I just chose Jackie Chan for some reason. I don't think I really look that much like Jackie Chan, but when I was a kid, there weren't really that many Asian actors, and so that's just the first actor I thought of was Jackie Chan. But then I thought, actually I kind of look like Psy, the Gangnam Style guy. I guess maybe I look like that Randall Park guy from, the Asian sitcom. I might look like Glenn from The Walking Dead. Not really. I guess he's much better looking than I am. But, I could probably retrain the model on one of those actors who looks more like me, but I don't think it's actually a big deal. But that's what I did. So if you see Jackie Chan in my prompts, that's the reason why. It's not because I am Jackie Chan, but it's just because I chose Jackie Chan. Actually, now that I think about it, if there is a celebrity who looks more like me than Jackie Chan or Psy, you could put that in the comments, except be nice about it. Because really, I don't think there's that many Asian actors still. So, maybe the guy from Lost. Okay, so anyway, after, I chose the images and I chose the token, I just basically had to run the script that ran a bunch of iterations on the original model and associated my picture with Jackie Chan. And so I did 3,000 steps for the first time. I think the 3,001 took about 2 hours on my computer. And so yeah, after that happens, then you can basically just reuse that model to run your Stable Diffusion stuff. And then you use Jackie Chan, if you use Jackie Chan, to make new images of yourself. So one of the interesting things about the model is that while it's training, it'll create a new test image every 500 steps. And so I'll show you some of the ones that were like intermediary steps in my, I think it was a 4,000 step model. And so the first image kind of looks like me. If you squint and you just woke up and you're kind of like tired. And the next one is closer, but it's kind of blurry. The third one actually starts to look like me, and the lighting actually looks really good. And then the next few are good, aside from like the occasional one where the face is too small to have enough detail. And so you can see that this model converges on like a pretty good image pretty quickly. So I probably didn't need to go all the way up to like 4,000 or whatever it was. And I might have actually done too many because, as you'll see later, like I might have overfitted the model, which I can explain as well. Okay, so once the model is actually done training, then I can just basically generate unlimited pictures of myself. So originally I was thinking, I could make unlimited profile photos, and so I could just update my Twitter profile photo every day until people are like, why is your profile photo updating every day? I tried to make some images of myself like on a red carpet in like a tuxedo because, I don't really wear tuxedos. Those actually worked pretty well. I tried a few where I was like on vacation in Hawaii or like at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which actually Stable Diffusion understands, which is pretty cool. Since those worked out pretty well, I thought I would try and troll my family. So I sent them this photo of me skydiving, and I sent it to my family text to see if people were like really scared, because I'm not the kind of person who actually goes skydiving like ever. I'm like pretty risk averse, and so I think my sister kind of knew it was fake, but my mom thought it was real. And then my brother also thought it was real. But the weird thing is that my mom thought it was real because I feel like if she thought it was real, she would be scared because I went skydiving. I even said the chute almost didn't deploy, but whatever. So I guess that's a pretty good test of whether it works well or not is part of my family thought it was real. So I ended up trying a bunch of other different images. So I'll show you those really quick. So I tried doing like a medieval oil painting of myself in armor, which I thought might look cool if I could like make it bigger and then hang it on my wall. One thing I found is like the training images have a really strong effect on the results. So if you have a bunch of pictures of yourself wearing like a plaid shirt like I do, or wearing a hoodie, then like those are gonna happen a lot in your photos. And so it's good to, have a lot of variety in your pictures. And you can use prompts to try and get rid of the bias for plaid shirts. But it's kind of an uphill battle. So obviously all of the photos I have of myself are not paintings. Like I've never gotten a painting done of myself. And so when I actually ask for a painting, it ends up being more like photorealistic than, a real painting would be. Another thing I noticed is that I would often get a picture that kind of looked like me, but it wasn't 100% like me. And I guess that's kind of like an uncanny valley kind of effect. But then I started questioning, like, how well do I actually know what I look like? Because I only ever look at myself in the mirror, and, I maybe look at myself when I'm on a Zoom call, but I'm only looking at the front of my face. I never see the side of my face, and so how well do I actually know what I look like? And for some of these pictures, I'm not actually sure if they look like me or not. But, I kind of tend to like the ones that look better or are more aesthetically pleasing. And I kind of like assume like, oh, if that one makes me look good, that's probably looks more like me than this other one where I look kind of ugly. So I did find this one picture that I made a little bit creepy because it was this image of myself, but I was staring at the camera. And I was like really creeped out because it was kind of staring at me. And then I was thinking, I've never taken this photo before, but that person is me, but it's not really me, right? So there's this idea of like, what is it to be me? And he just looks really sinister, like he looks like he's thinking something that's like not nice. And so, um, some of these images I was making kind of creeped me out, but I feel like if the X Files was still on, this would be like an X Files. Like Mulder and Scully would probably, try some image generation AI, and then it would make an image of like some serial murder happening, and then, they would keep generating images and find out what the next victim was. But yeah, just some food for thought. So I also tried a bunch of other styles, which is kind of fun. because then you get images of yourself, that aren't like the typical image that you see. And so I made a few cyberpunk looking neon ones because I thought it was really cool. And it also kind of shows how well Stable Diffusion can actually handle light sources. I like the shadows, on the face and like the chin especially. It looks really cool. One thing I noticed though is that sometimes Stable Diffusion will just give me this like gigantic Adam's apple, and I'm not really sure why, because I don't have like a big Adam's apple. I don't think none of the training images that I used show me with a giant Adam's apple, and so I'm not really sure where that's coming from. But it showed up in a lot of different images, so I'm not sure if there's some weird bias in the model weights of giving random people giant Adam's apples. But I did notice that in my images. So then here's some images of me as different superheroes. And what's interesting here is that, a lot of times it'll just show me in a hoodie or a plaid shirt again. But if I try hard enough and I make enough images, then I can actually make myself look like Wolverine. And it's cool because, it's Wolverine. It's Asian Wolverine, but he's not wearing a hoodie. And of course, I had to turn myself into Guy Fieri because everyone loves Guy Fieri. I also experimented with trying different lenses too and different modifiers. So there's like some images I made of myself that are kind of dreamy and have like this weird soft blur in the background, and they're just different than other images I have of myself. So I thought that was kind of cool. I could use that, on Instagram or something. And people would think I was just really artsy. So it's kind of hard to actually go through the process of all of the different prompt engineering and tweaks that I had to make to get some of these images that I just showed you. And so I thought it might be fun to just do like a live coding session where, I have an idea and then I go through it and try to get a good image and see how I actually get there through changing different parameters and different words in the prompt. So here's that. Okay, so I'm going to try to make a new image of myself, and I was thinking I could try and be a hippie during Woodstock, which I don't remember what year it was, somewhere in 1970. So the token I'm using for myself is Jackie Chan, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. So let's say Jackie Chan as a hippie at Woodstock in 1973. I don't know when Woodstock was. Okay, so let's try to generate that image. It's just me as a normal person, kind of. Uh, I don't own this jacket, and I don't own a backpack like that, but we can try a couple more generations. Okay. So people at Woodstock really like straps, I guess. Oh, that's a little bit better. The face is kind of nightmare fuel, but that seems to happen a lot in these. So there's a way to actually, so I'm keeping the same seed so I can make the same image basically, and then change things around here. So sampling steps is kind of low, so let's try it with 50 sampling steps. It's a little slower. Okay, that's a little bit closer, but it looks less like Woodstock than it did before. Let's see here. So we can try doing another random one, see what it looks like. Okay, that doesn't look like me. Oh, now I'm playing the guitar, so now I'm like part of the actual thing. So it's just kind of like being me, but at Woodstock. But what I want is I want myself to be a hippie. So I can try and just say a hippie. Okay, let's look at what a hippie just looks like. So I think it's kind of overfitting on all the pictures of me in like my regular shirts. Okay, yeah. So this is a lot more Woodstock than the ones with my token. Yeah. Okay, so I think one way to try and make it a little bit more Woodstocky is I can put my name at the end um, as Jackie Chan, and that sometimes has a better result. And it's a little bit um, as a hippie. Let's just like really say like I'm a hippie. Okay, see that's a little bit better. So like I guess to make it like stronger, you just keep on saying I'm a hippie, I'm a hippie, I'm a hippie until Stable Diffusion's like okay, okay, you win, you're a hippie. I can say like I'm wearing like what did the hippies wear? They wore like feathers or something, feather headdress or something. Is that something that happened? I don't want to get canceled because I'm remembering Woodstock wrong. I wasn't even there. That's pretty good. Maybe I should like look this up. Uh, wearing, I don't know, like, didn't people just wear like leather vests and that was it? Maybe I should choose like something that actually knew what it looks like before I try to make myself into it. Okay, that's not a leather vest. See, that's like a plaid shirt, which I'm always wearing. So it probably just thinks I'm like I have to be wearing a leather vest or a shirt. Oh, that's pretty good. See, it's getting closer. And it kind of has like the photo quality right too. It's like looking a little bit, analog, which is interesting. Okay, that's not me though. Does not look like me. That kind of looks like me, right? Like, okay, this is okay. So that's fine. I was thinking also, I mean, I can make myself into what's that bad guy in the Avengers, Thanos? It's like let's look at what Thanos looks like. Thanos, the Avengers. Okay, yeah. So he looks like he's got like this weird kind of chin going on. Let's just say it's Jackie Chan. Okay, well, that's just two different ones of me who kind of look the same. It doesn't really look like me. I don't. I don't think I've ever worn something like that before. Okay, that doesn't look like me. So you can say something like movie still 8K. I don't know. People put these things all the time, and it kind of looks good. Oh, okay. Okay, see, so this part looks pretty good. I don't know what this is. This is like they decided to get 2 for 1, but this one looks pretty good. I feel like what I could do is I could do an in paint, and then I could like remove the part that's like not me, or it is me, but it's not Thanos me. There's probably a better way to do this. I don't know why it stops at the edges, but okay. So like if I get rid of all this stuff, and then I say like generate this again, what? It just did the same thing. Oh, let's see. So I want to inpaint the mask. Let's just use link noise. Uh, I don't know what these options are. Okay. Okay, they decided to fill it with a city instead of me. Okay. Um, let's let's see. What if I set this denoising strength up? I'm just trying things here now. 'Cause this part looks pretty convincing, This is like what I would look like as Thanos. Okay, just made another one. Okay, maybe there's something weird with this seed, so I can just try a different one. Oh yeah. Yeah, that looks like me, right? I just got a haircut, so my hair's a little bit short, but I feel like that's pretty good, you know. Okay, sure. So that's kind of what you can do with the stable diffusion stuff if you train it to remember your face. That one doesn't look like me. Um, I could just do this all day because, I'm full of myself and I like looking at pictures of myself. Okay, that one's not Thanos. So one thing I've learned too is that you gotta just like get a bunch of different generations and you might get lucky. I feel like people just kind of cherry pick the best ones that they have, and so people think that all the pictures that are coming out of it are super good, but um, I think like maybe 10% of the ones are actually good, and then the rest are just I don't know something like this, or like yeah, this weird cut off two different pictures thing. Um, okay, it's like Thanos as a regular person as me. One other thing you could try is like one interesting thing I've noticed is if you're trying to make a size that's like taller, you'll often get these like weird artifacts too. So like if I try to make it taller than it is wide, because the model is trained on 512 by 512. Oh, that one. I don't know. Sometimes you'll get these weird things where you like have two of the same thing on top of each other. Um, so let's see. No, that's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look like me. It's just Thanos. But you'll get like two heads because the model has to have like at least one of the thing in one box, and so you'll end up okay. These don't look like me anymore. You end up with like two heads, or a head growing out of a torso, which looks really funny. So I was hoping to get one of those, but now it's just doing just straight up Thanos and not me. Um, what if I just put as Jackie Chan? Just make it more Jackie than or me. Okay, that looks like me from Star Trek or something. Actually, I should try that. I should try me on the bridge of the Star Trek Enterprise in Star Trek the original series. Okay, so it got the suit, but I'm not purple. So you can just play around with this, like you just throw in words and see what happens until you get what you want. And sometimes it just takes a while, but if you get the right image, then you can then you can what's wrong with my hand? What am I holding? I don't want to know. Um, yeah, then you can just kind of pick the best ones. Okay, I look really worried in this one. I don't think I have that expression in any of my training photos. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop this here, and I'll try to show some in painting next, which is also pretty interesting. Okay, so I thought I would try to do an example of in painting, and I was looking at movie posters, and I found Home Alone. I thought it'd be hilarious if I can get my face into Home Alone, the Home Alone poster. So I guess the obvious, place to put me would be here. So I basically just like draw out Macaulay Culkin's face, make this a little bit bigger, and see if I can just, replace it with my face. So I can say like, because that's who I am. Um, and then movie poster. Oh, wow. Now let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm not screaming though. See, I can say with his hands on his face and screaming. Is that what the kid does? Okay, that doesn't. I don't know if that really looks like it. I can do some more sampling steps. Let's see, so I'm using the original. I think I can lower the denoising strength, and that usually makes it so that the original image is a little bit stronger. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit closer. Let me see. I don't want to. I don't want to crop. Okay, these look like feet for some reason. Did I put feet? No, I put hands. Okay, like for some reason, Stable Diffusion is not good at drawing hands, and so those really look like feet to me. So I'm gonna just get that off the screen as fast as I can. Do another one. Let's. Okay, look, it made me into a kid. That's interesting. Did I look like I didn't look like that as a kid. I was cuter than that. That's pretty good, actually. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Um, so I think by lowering the denoising strength, I was able to make it so that you know it kind of uses more parts of the original image. Um, oh wow! I see. I don't have any pictures that I trained of me with my face, like my mouth open that much. I don't think. Um, that's pretty good. That have I got like all the fingers? I got like extra finger over here, but this is pretty good. Well, if I say as like Kevin McAllister, I don't know if that makes a difference. Probably not. Now I've only got one hand. Now I've got no hands. Okay, so I think I need to change this denoising strength back a little bit to get the hands back. Because I think hands in front. I didn't train any photos like this, so that's pretty good. Okay, well that should be wearing glasses though. Oh, wow, the hair is pretty good. This little kid. Okay, so let's keep this and let's send it back. Okay, so I can send it back to InPaint. Although, why is there some red stuff around me now? Was it like that before? Yeah, I don't care. I can try to now I can try to be Daniel Stern as I don't know what his name was in the movie, like Marty or something or Marv. Um, oh, okay. Whoops. Let me go back. So what it did was it kind of kept the mask on the kid, but this kid looks pretty good. So let's just do this face. Um, okay, this is an ear. I think that's an ear. Uh, huh. Okay. I mean, maybe I need to make it even less strong for this part. Hmm. Okay, it's just looking a little weird and creepy now, but you know, I think that's pretty much the way they want it to look. All right, so then let's send it back to InPaint again and undo all the masks, and then I can finally become Joe Pesci. Oops, slipped there a little bit. Um, Pretty sure his name is like Marv or something. Pesci? How do you? Okay, that doesn't help. I think that's right. Okay, that looks really dumb. Huh. Okay, well, let me see. What if I do more steps too? Um, okay, so this is the all Asian, all me remake of Home Alone. So look for that in theaters soon. But so this is just an example of doing in painting and showing off what you can do with that. Okay, so that was basically coming up with a new prompt for a new image, and then also using in painting to put myself into Home Alone, which was kind of fun. Another thing I noticed is that I probably need to just take more images of myself in the training where I'm doing different expressions, because I found that there's like this one expression that keeps on coming up in a lot of these images that I'm generating, and it's like kind of like I'm staring at the camera in a certain way. And it's interesting because I don't think there's any images in the actual set of training images where I'm doing that pose. So it seems like Stable Diffusion is taking a bunch of different directions of my face, but then maybe that's the easiest one that I can do given all of the data it has on my face. I'm not really sure, but I just noticed that there's a certain pose that just keeps on popping up. So I probably need to add more variety and then retrain the model again so I can get different results. Okay, so that's basically where I am in this process of trying to make images of myself. So I think as far as next steps go, I can probably create a new model with some more variety in the images, and then also experiment with doing some different prompt work. So I can get the most out of all of those pictures that I want to make. So the way that I trained my model was basically using my own computer and like a really strong graphics card to do it. But I did read that there was a way to actually train your model online using a cloud GPU. And it actually looks like it's pretty cheap. Like it might cost less than $3 to train an entire model. And so if you're interested in how to do that, leave me a comment in the comment section, and maybe I'll make a new video tutorial on how to do that. So as always, if you're interested in seeing the next video that I make, you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel and like this video so YouTube will know that you like it. And yeah, if you have any other ideas or any comments on this video, just let me know. If you think of any other prompts that I should have used, maybe you can put them in there and I can make a new video where I just do a bunch of different prompts. That'd be kind of fun. So yeah, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and happy diffusing!